Meet the world's first woolly mouse. By comparing ancient mammoth DNA to the genes of modern elephants, Colossal's team has resurrected the physical traits which once helped mammoths thrive in cold climates. By changing just 8 key genes, the mice have been engineered to show dramatically different coat colors, textures, lengths, and thicknesses. In the future, this same technique could be used on elephants to produce a new generation of woolly mammoths, which could be released into the wild. To create the woolly mice, the researchers started by figuring out which genes were responsible for making mammoths woolly. Modern Asian elephants share around 95% of their genome with woolly mammoths, making them more closely related to the extinct species than they are to African elephants. So, by looking carefully at mammoth and Asian elephant DNA, the researchers could identify the key genes that make the two species different. Dr. Shapiro says, "Our comparative genomic analyses of mammoths and elephants identified genes that changed in mammoths since mammoths diverged from elephants, which should be important to making mammoths more mammoth-like." In total, Colossal gathered a data set of 121 mammoth and elephant genomes that they compared to find 10 genes which were compatible with a mouse's physiology. These are related to hair length, thickness, texture, and color, as well as lipid metabolism, which controls how animals put on weight, all key factors for survival in cold conditions. The scientists then used a suite of gene editing tools to make 8 simultaneous changes to the genetic code of fertilized mice eggs, or zygotes. After allowing those zygotes to mature into embryos in the lab, they were inserted into surrogate mothers, who then gave birth to mice with a combined total 7 engineered genes. For example, the woolly mice were all given an edit to a gene called fibroblast growth factor 5, or FGF5, which causes their hair to grow up to 3 times longer than normal. Likewise, both the woolly mammoth and woolly mouse have genetic mutations that cause their coats to become wavy and blonde, rather than dark and short. In the future, the same techniques could be applied to elephant DNA in order to bring the mammoth back from extinction. Colossal plans to take a complete elephant genome and insert genes to make them more mammoth-like. The resulting animal would be a mammoth-elephant hybrid which looks, acts, behaves, and functions in the environment just like woolly mammoths once did. Ultimately, the company plans to rewild parts of Canada or Alaska with self-sustaining mammoth populations in the near future. However, not everyone is convinced that this development is such a big step towards the birth of a woolly mammoth as it may appear. How were the woolly mice created? Scientists compare woolly mammoth and elephant DNA to find key genes which help mammoths adapt to the cold. These genes are then engineered into the DNA of mice. Genetically engineered mouse eggs are matured into embryos and inserted into a surrogate. The embryos are carried to term, and the resulting offspring have the woolly mammoth genes for long coats.